Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me to be your master of ceremony in this very special occasion, the seminar about the stigma of mental illness. First of all, let's say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us guidance, keeping us healthy and mercy so we can attend and participate in this special event without any obstacles. Praise and salutation upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who had brought us the path of the light from darkness in this life. The Honorable Speaker, Ms. Sam Cohen, the Honorable Chairman of English Language Department, Professor Dr. Ibnu Subagio, the Honorable Chairman of English Literature Class K, Ahmad, the Honorable all lecturer and staff of English Department, and also the audience of seminar participants. Ladies and gentlemen, here I am, ELISA ADELIA, as the Master of Ceremony, will guide you this seminar. But before we starting our agenda, let me explain the agenda schedule of this seminar. The first agenda is opening. The second agenda is greetings. The first greeting will be delivered by the Chairman of English Language Department, and then the second greeting will be delivered by the Chairman of English Literature Class K. The third agenda is speech, and then the last agenda is closing. All blessed audience, the first agenda is opening. Let's start this agenda by reading Basmalah together. The second agenda is greetings. The first greeting will be our Chairman of English Language Department, Professor Dr. Ibnu Samugyo. Time is yours.
Thank you all for being here today, and I want to thank the panel severally and individually for having been here and having contributed to 2 days of such rich discussions. I also want to thank the audience. It takes a certain amount of rescheduling to do 3 things in a row and to be there every day and to be fully attending. Thank you very much for being here. Want to take this occasion just to thank everybody and also to say that the next TANA lecture, the next series of TANA lectures will be delivered by, I was going to say Rowan Atkinson, but I know that's wrong, by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams, not the current one, but the last Archbishop who is now the Master of Queen's College, Cambridge. And we will, of course, be going public with the title of his lectures and the dates as soon as we have them. But thank you very much for being here. We expect this panel to last anything from an hour and a quarter to 2 hours, depending on the conversation. And in fact, it's going to be very open after a set of exchanges by the panel and presentations by the panel. We can then just open it out. And thank you so much for Professor Mackelman.
Thank you very much for the greeting, Mr. Ibnu Samugyo. The second greeting is from our Chairman of English Literature Class K, Ahmad. Time is yours.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, teachers, fellow graduates, lads, troops, mum, dad. I'll try and keep this short and sweet. Any opinions expressed in the following speech are my own and not necessarily shared or endorsed by William Wood High School or its management. Audience members lacking a sense of humour are encouraged to chuckle politely or show themselves out. 6th year, we've made it. As a renowned hip-hop mogul and street philosopher Drake once said, we started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom. Where was I? It would be remiss of me not to mention briefly a few specific members of our year group who made a significant contribution to our lives, our school, and the wider world in their own way. Gareth Marshon in his dedication to all things charitable, Josh Kroll in his services to YouTube, and of course David Allen for wearing his debut blazer that one time. Boynewood High School Class of 2017, all that remains for me to do is to wish you all the very best in whatever you choose to pursue in life. It's been a pleasure. Good night.
Thank you very much for the greetings. The next agenda is the main agenda, which we are waiting for explanation from the speaker, Miss Sam Cohen, our trainer and motivator. For Miss Sam Cohen, time is yours.
You would never say to someone with a broken bone to just ignore their pain, that it'll just pass one day. You would never say about someone who has cancer that they're just faking it. It's just all for attention. You would never say to someone in a wheelchair, just stand up. It's all in your head. You would obviously never say that to any of these kinds of people because they didn't ask for it in their life. It's not like they chose to put it in their life. It should be the same for any other sickness or disability. No one asked to put this into their life, so they can't just snap out of it. Unfortunately, many people with mental illness have been told at least once in their life, just snap out of it. Trust me, if I could snap out of my anxiety and my depression, I would have done it long before anybody had to tell me. My illness isn't physically visible to you. You can't look at me and tell that I've been diagnosed with anxiety and depression. I mean, you can't really tell anyone who's mentally sick, and that's why it's kind of doubted in our society, because you just can't see it. The only people who can feel it are the people who have it. They can feel the battle inside them. I try not to blame myself for my anxiety and depression. I mean, as I said before, I didn't put it in my life. I didn't ask for it. It's just a result of the neurons in my brain working kind of abnormally. Many people have it because of a childhood trauma, or just it runs through genetics. It runs through my family. A family member of mine has also been diagnosed with anxiety and depression. She also had postpartum depression after having her children. She was fine for a little bit, but almost 10 years after having her last child, she admitted herself into a mental hospital for suicidal thoughts. She made the beyond correct decision to go get help. I hope when I say mental hospital, you don't picture this. Because in movies and stuff, it looks more like a jail, like a torture chamber where patients look more like prisoners. Even when I was looking up pictures for my slides, I could barely find a picture of what a mental hospital actually looks like. And it doesn't look much different than any other hospital wing. It's light and bright, and a lot of patients really do get better. My family member, she would send us coloring pages. She would call us and tell us how much better she was doing now that she had full-on access to a therapist. It's been almost a year and a half since she's been released from the hospital, and she's doing better. She owned her own business for a while. She is doing great at a new job, and she has a family that loves and cares for her. She is one of the greatest people I know. She's strong, and I look up to her every single day. My relative was lucky to get the treatment that she got in our society. Our society is very judgmental when it comes to mentally sick. Society tends to ostracize those who say that they're sick by calling them just crazy or overreacting. So that makes people who are sick tend to want to hide themselves. I've always stayed quiet, and so has everyone else in my family. But I don't want to be quiet about my illness anymore. I shouldn't be afraid to tell who I am. So as I said before, I've got anxiety and depression. I was diagnosed with anxiety when I was in 3rd grade. I would kind of just cry, like all the time, for no reason, or at least no reason that seemed rational. So I spent a lot of hours in the guidance counselor, and then I finally went to therapy. And it's been great. I love therapy. I mean, who doesn't want to sit in a room for an hour to someone who has to listen to you talk? It's helped me so much. I mean, therapy hasn't really gotten rid of my depression and anxiety, but more taught me how to beat it, how to cope with it. For example, in my late middle school years and my early years as a freshman in high school, I had a lot of depression. I was kind of just not really sad, but more felt nothing, felt worthless. And I kept going to therapy, and my therapist taught me, you can deal with it. Your mental illness is just an old-fashioned supervillain, and you're a superhero. You can beat it to the ground. So that's how therapy has helped me. Unfortunately, society hasn't just stigmatized therapy, but it's also stigmatized mental illness. It's so common to hear people say, wow, I'm so OCD because that thing just isn't lined up properly, or wow, that's so retarded. People shouldn't be saying these. If you've never had anxiety, you don't know what it feels like to have the entire world crashing around you for basically nothing. If you've never had depression, you don't know what it feels like to feel worthless, so don't make a joke about it. In a world where 1 in 5 adults have a mental illness, don't say how depressed you are because your favorite TV show ended. And don't say you're going to kill yourself and make tapes because your Starbucks barista didn't get your order correctly. It's not appropriate to say these anymore. TED is all about ideas we're sharing, and the idea I want to share with you all today is be nicer to people. I mean, it seems like such a basic message, but you never know what's going on in someone else's head. So just be nicer, and make sure if you know someone with a mental illness that they know you're not judging them because of their mental illness. When I wrote this talk, I thought, how much should I share about myself? Should I just say I've got anxiety? Should I just say I've got depression? It's all been really personal. It's my entire life. But then I realized that's why I wrote it. I shouldn't have to hide who I am anymore. It's hard enough working with this mental illness itself. So I should be comfortable in my own skin, and so should anyone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Sam Cohen, by the speech. From the speech, we know that many of stigma of mental illness. From the speech, we know that mental illness is very serious and hard for somebody that isn't mentally ill to understand how bad it hurts, and it's a constant battle in your brain. You're fighting yourself all the time. This is important to say. This is so important to say, and the conversation needs to continue. And thank you, Miss Sam Cohen, for your courage and your message. And then stigma can lead to discrimination. Discrimination may be obvious and direct, such as someone making a negative remark about your mental illness or your treatment, or maybe unintentional or subtle, such as someone avoiding you because the person assumes you can be unstable. Finally, we come to the end of this event. Thank you very much for your coming and your nice attention. Let's close the National Education Seminar about the stigma of mental illness by saying Hamdalah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.